Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I've got a really simple card for you. And at the moment my projects have to be quite simple because I've broken my thumb. So I've just come out of a cast, which means fussy cutting things are out for me at the moment, or anything fiddly. So I wanted to come up with something which I could do just to keep in with my crafting. So I've come up with this stepper card, and you can see the stepper element there, but this one is a split stepper. So you've got two sides to this stepper card, but I've decided to add this little pop-up bit for the sentiment as well. So you can still see the image behind, but it just pops out so you can see it from above like so. So you've got the two steps splitting, and yet it still folds flat like so and fits into a 5x7 envelope. So this one I used the Coastal DigiKit from Knitwit Collections, and I thought I'd do a little Valentine one, but quite a sophisticated one. And I'm going to use, we've got a plane going over, we've got a Valentine card, but a little bit more sophisticated, and I'm going to use the Bellissimo kit by Knitwit, which is full of luscious reds, browns, let's bring it the right way up, and flowers. So let's have a look at what we need. So we need just one sheet of cardstock. I'm going to bring my trimmer in. This is where I've got to be careful with my thumb because I still can't actually use pressure on it, which is why today is full of just straight lines. But it's nice to have these simple cards for beginners and for more advanced people to have a quick card when you need one, but also something with a little difference, which you sort of expect from me now. So from my cardstock, I'm going to cut it at 9 inches by 7. But before I do a 7, I'm actually going to cut a 1-inch strip off this side. So I got my 1 inch there, and now I've got a 7. It's easier to do it with that large bit rather than having to line up this 1¼ inch there because it moves when you put it down. So it's easier to cut the 1 inch off first. And then you've got this large scrap, which you can use then for your 3D element. So that can be any size you want, which I'll come to later on. So that's all my cutting. Oh, no, it's not. Let's bring it back. So with our 1 inch strip, I'm going to cut a 2 inch and another 2 inch. So these are 1 inch by 2 inch pieces there. So let's now bring in our scoreboard. And these are nice and simple as well. So we're going to put our 7 inch across the top. I'm going to score it in half at 3.5. Then we're going to rotate it. So we've got the 9 inch along the top. And we're going to do a 7 is here. So 7 by 5 cards. So I'm going to score it 5. And then whatever we got here. So if you wanted to change the measurements and have larger steps, because you've got 12 by 12 cardstock you could use, you can make the step larger. But whatever you've got. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 inches left. So I'm going to score a 7, which is 2 inches. So 3.5, 5 and 7. I told you this would be an easy one. I'm just going to grab my scissors. So this is the 5 inch piece at the top. These are my two 2 inch ones. And I'm just going to cut up that score line through step number 1 and step number 2. And I've stopped once I get to that 5 inch. And then I'm just going to fold back on that 5 inch. You could do the scoring before if you wanted to. And then score back. So you've got your 2 steps. And then we're just going to fold it back and burnish this one to make our split. And that is your card base. And you could stop it, you could just decorate this. But as I said, we're going to add a little bit of extra. So we've got these 2-inch pieces. And we're just going to use our scoreboard with the 2-inch on the top, down middle. You could just fold it in the middle if you wanted. But once we've got the scoreboard, let's get some accuracy. A nice sharp folds. And I'm just going to fold them and fold this one. And if you're going to do this pop-out bit, you will need to stick these down before decorating. So I'm just adding some double-sided tape to the backs, like so, and they're going to go like that. I'm just going to bring in, should we zoom in a little bit? Zoom into my card. You can see the 2 steps there. And I'm going to take off the tape. And I'm going to stick this. So I'm holding down my 2 steps with the fold towards the score line. So there's my 3.5-inch score line. And press down. So it needs to be above your step. And then the other one, you need the fold towards the score line again. And we're just going to butt it up to the other one. There we go. And that will be your pop-out mechanism. And I'm going to take my tape and take it straight across the 2 of them. So that sort of braces them together. Although we are going to put something on top again. But it'll keep them joined together like so. I'm just going to put that aside for a second and bring in my decorative pieces. Now I've layered these up digitally. Now I know that might frighten some people, and I just want you to know, if you've just got a plain sheet, let's zoom back out, we did zoom in, didn't we? You could print off a plain red from the Bellissimo and then plain cream and cut elements out yourself. Or if you are more digitally inclined, you can build up. Now this was a red panel from the solids, one of the patterned papers, and then one of the toppers, just layered on top of each other. But as I said, you could just use some red cardstock and some of your patterned papers on top, and then just use fussy cut elements. It's up to you. Now these 2 are for the back. These 2 are for the front. These 4 are for our stepper element. And I've got 1 sentiment. So your 4 pieces here, you only need 2 for the front, so it depends what you want to do on the back. You could just put plain cardstock if you want to save some paper. Just 1/4 inch less than what we had here. So this was 3.5 by 5. So my patterned paper is 3 1/4. Bring in my scoreboard so you can see. 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. So with your pattern paper, you just cut a load of those. And then your stepper, turn upside down because I do have a little bit of extra bit there, 3 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then your sentiment is as big as you want. But try to keep it so that you can actually fit it onto that scrap piece of card you had earlier. So should we start putting it together. Let's put these aside. So we can start with putting the pieces behind. So I decorated mine so that the elements I've added are sort of top left, because you're not going to see the bottom because of that, and you're not going to see much of that once your sentiment's on. So keep it top left, that's where you're going to see the most things. And what I've done, I've actually placed it over my 3D element there. I'm going to do the same here. So it's going, this is the piece I've stuck onto the card, so it's hiding that workings. So I've kept the main element top right here. And then when these come back, it sort of hides. And then let's add these two bikes. So I'm actually put them upside down. So when your card is up, they are the right way up. And I'm going to have them driving towards each other, I think. Oh, that way. And we're just centralizing, so we've got a bit of the brown around the outside. There. And then you'll notice on these ones, I've actually gone off, let's put it here, the top of the red. So if you are going to put some fussy cut elements to stick it on, it can go over the edge here. But make sure you don't glue those top bits. Otherwise you will glue your card shut. So we've got a little bit sticking out. And on this one, we've got that butterfly sticking up and over. So we've got a bit of extra 3D element to it. There we go. And then with this, I've printed this onto some photo paper because it does come out lovely. But what I'm going to do is strengthen it. So that waste piece of card we had is no longer waste. We are going to glue this on. But if you've got like a card kit with strong card stuff, toppers, you may not need to back it on. And this time, I'm just going to take off the two pieces of tape. And I'm going to stick this, just eyeball it into the middle. So you may think, oh, I've covered those. But what happens is when you fold it, you can actually still see the two elements there. And for a card which folds pretty flat into your envelope, you've got a lot of 3D element to it. See, so you've got the two steppers, then it splits, and you've got that sentiment then sticking proud out. So a little card with a difference, but oh, this lamb stuck the bits onto the back. We need somewhere to write, don't we? So I was saying, it's a little card, but it does actually pack quite a punch, but it's actually so easy to make. And as I said, with my thumb not being right, everything was just a rectangle for cutting, so I was able to cut without too much bother. There we go, so that's on the left, on the right, and this one's going on the left. And So then that is where you would write your sentiment. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I say a nice, quick, easy one. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing your versions of this card. I'm sure a lot of you can have a go at this one, just for the simplicity and the quickness of it. And if you do, please share with me in my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul. If you just go into Facebook and type Paper Crafting with Paul into the search bar, it should come up. Otherwise, just have a look down below in the description, and I will add a link to the group. So there's my coastal one. There's my bellissimo one. Let me know which you prefer, and if you prefer the small little sentiment or a nice big proud sentiment. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll be seeing your versions pretty soon. See you all again. Happy crafting.